Welcome to my autumn-winter 2023 morning routine. So during the week, Monday to Friday, my mornings start at 5 o'clock and I have to get up and have a cup of tea before I do anything else. I cannot start the day without a good cup of tea. Then about 20 to 6, we start taking Steve to work. And then it is straight onto the yard for about 6 o'clock of a morning. It is pitch black. You'll have to excuse the lighting. As I say, 6 o'clock in the morning, it is dark. I can see what I'm doing with this head torch, but now I realise that you can barely see what I'm doing with this lighting. So it just starts with feeding the horses. I always make the basics of their feed the day before. So when I get there of a morning, I just have to add in their wet mix, give it a good stir, and then it's ready for the horses to eat. So first one to get his breakfast of a morning is Gambler. He likes the fact that he's moved stables up to this end of the yard because he gets fed first now instead of last. And then it's on to Willow.
Boy.
And then down the line, down to Donut. It's dark and scary down here on my own of a morning, but I am used to it now. It doesn't bother me too much anymore. You get used to all the noises of there's owls and deers and everything that you can hear. You just get used to that noise now. So that's Donut eating his breakfast. And then I start going back up the line, doing their hay nets and emptying their waters. I always make hay nets the day before, so it's all ready for me first thing in the morning to make it easier. So I just grab a hay net and walk it straight back to the stables and hang it up. So once the hay nets are hung up, I go round and I take off any bedtime rugs they're wearing and change them into any stable rugs that they have on during the day, because my horses do not get turned out yet. It's pitch black and I don't want them in the field yet, so they will stay in the stable for a little bit longer. So yeah, I change them into any daytime rug I need. And then in here, we're here with Willow now and we just hang up his hay net. And again, do the same with his rugs, change them. And then we move on to Gambler's stable and do exactly the same again. Hay nets and rugs and waters. So once all hay nets, rugs and waters are done, I go back round all the stables again and collect in the feed buckets. I just give them a rinse out during the week just because it's dark and it's cold. It won't be long before it's icy now, so I don't want to put any water onto the yard. So I give the buckets a good scrub on a weekend. But these black rubber buckets, they're so old now that I've scrubbed the material away a bit now, so I can't get the stains off the side off anymore. I really must go back to the shop to get a new light for this feed room, because when it works great, but it is motion censored. Although I'm still moving, it turns off frequently and it's just driving me insane. The other lights that I've got, you have the option for it to stay on or for it to be motion censored. This one is just motion censored or off. So yeah, definitely this was driving me insane this morning. Then it's time to start the mucking out. So they're pulled out the stable one by one and tied up into the washroom. Mucking out by torchlight is a lot easier than you think it would be once you get used to it. So once he's mucked out, he's put back into his stable for the time being. As you can see, the daylight comes up really quickly at the yard. So once all the mucking out is done, all horses get put back in their stables, and then I go and sweep up in the washroom any mess they've made. This was mess made from the night before we reclipped Gambler, so I was just tidying up because I hadn't tidied up the night before. Then that is the yard finished for the first part of the morning. So I go round to each horse before I leave and they all get given a polo. Then it is time to head back home, where I am greeted with a rather enthusiastic Fred. There is 3 dogs here, all Jack Russells, but the other 2 will be up in bed snoozing. So it's always Fred that comes to greet me. Time for yet another cup of tea and some breakfast. I live off of tea and chocolate, basically. So then it is time for me to get ready, brush my teeth, brush my hair, and do my whole skincare routine. So yeah, that's it. My whole skincare routine consists of a good wash with a face wash, and then some moisturiser, usually something I've been bought for Christmas or birthdays. And then it is time for me to get ready to go to work. During this time, I would usually get Lewis up for school as well, but I purposely filmed this video on one of his insect days just because filming takes so much longer to do stuff whilst you're filming it as well. So my life is a big rush and I have to be loads of different places by set times. So I was trying to make life easier for myself. But yes, we're greeted with buys from the puppies. This is Daisy, and of course there is Fred. Yes, my floor needs sweeping. That's an afternoon job. And then I take a drive just down the road to where I work. I'm not going to film there because that is their personal houses. So a couple of hours later, I come back to the yard. And this now is when I will start turning horses out in the field. I am lucky in the fact that I have to go past my yard to go to work. So once I've finished work, on my way back home, I run into the yard then, and that's when I turn the horses out. I do this way completely because of the frosty ground in the winter. There is a higher risk of laminitis by turning your horses out on frosty grass, because when it is stressed, it keeps hold of its sugars. So doing it this way, the grass should have thawed by the time they all go out into the field. So Willow does get a hay net tied to the fence post because Gambler and Donut will go off and graze, but Willow, once he's had a mad 5 minutes or a buck and a roll, he will then just stand at the gate waiting to be brought back in. He's a bit of a pampered prince and doesn't like being out when it's cold, wet and rainy. So I tie him the hay net so he will just munch on that. Then it's time to turn Donut out, and that is the yard done for the morning. I then head home to do anything that I need to do at home and grab some lunch before heading back down the yard in the afternoon.